Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to DRM. This is Deborah Rice Movement, a movement where we, as children of God, gather together to answer life's question. So today we have amongst us Dr. Latha Christie. She is a senior scientist with the Government of India for the past 37 years. She has completed a bachelor's with honors in electronics and communications engineering and her master's and PhD in aerospace engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. She's the author of 6 books and has around 70 publications in peer-reviewed journals and conferences. She's a motivational speaker and a certified counselor. She's the host of 20 YouTube series documentary, A Grand Cosmic Story. So today we welcome you to this interactive session where everyone can ask questions. So today I will start the interactive talk session with 2 questions that I have here. The first one is, in your last talk, Dr. Latha, you had said that there is much evidence that God created the universe. But if someone asks the same questions to us, who created God, what would your reply be? And the second question I would like to also ask along those lines would be, there are many scientific models based on Genesis 1. However, you state in your book and in your episode that there is no need to assign a specific number of years to the first book of the Bible because it is silent on this issue. You have introduced the revelatory model to explain this perspective. Could you explain your revelatory model and how it allows you to avoid assigning specific number of years, which is a major point of contention among the other models?
Yeah, thank you, Cordelia, for that question. In this, there are 2 important questions what every unbeliever and even believer questions us. The first one is, who created God? The second one is all about Genesis 1. So let me answer these 2 questions and then open it up for your question answer. So let me first share my screen. Our life is mysterious. That is why I wanted to speak today about the mysteries of our universe. So first, the question is, who created God? Kalam cosmological argument, people will teach in apologetics, everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe should have a cause of its existence. They found that universe is not eternal. So universe began to exist. So now the universe should have a cause, and that cause should be God. So that's what many Bible teachers teach the people. So one child got up, like how Cordelia was asking. He asked, if that means if God also should begin to exist, right? So somebody should have caused God. Who created God? That was the question. So let me answer this question. Who created God? People thought the universe existed forever and ever. So that's what many philosophers thought. So Einstein believed also in an eternal universe. It existed forever. There was no start at all. And when he brought in his general theory of relativity and tried to apply it to our universe, he was shocked. He was shocked to find that our universe was expanding. And so he thought might be something is wrong. So he put a fudge factor into the equation to stop the expansion. But then Father George Lemaitre, a Catholic priest, and then later Edwin Hubble through his telescope confirmed that the universe is expanding. That means you go back, and point, universe has a single point. This was a huge turning point in history because people thought universe existed forever, right? Now universe has a starting point. If it has a starting point, it should have a cause for its existence. People who said there is no God, they were shocked because they cannot explain who started the universe. Now I come to the case for an eternal God. So before this huge universe came into existence, something eternal must have pre-existed outside this universe. So that something should have the power and wisdom to bring this universe into existence from nothing. That something should be able to exist without depending on anything. It should be the efficient cause. That should be supernatural. So if you say think that way, That should be an uncreated entity. The God who created should be uncreated. He should be outside of space and time. He should not be part of the universe. Same thing you read in Psalm 92. Before the mountains are brought forth, or earth was brought forth, even from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. So Bible clearly says our God doesn't need any start. He exists forever and ever. He is eternal. God is eternally existence, and therefore the God of the Bible, I would say specifically, God of the Bible clearly says he's an eternal God, and that's why there is no need for a cause for his existence. So he does not have a cause, and so time doesn't apply. He created time, he created space. So people would say, I am doing the God of the gap argument because I didn't know. That's why I'm putting God there. No, it is not that. We know. We look at the design of the universe, which I cover in the next session, and we look at the universe beauty, and we know our DNA, we know the life within, and then we say there should be a designer. Everything didn't come by accident. So this way, if somebody asks you who created God, you can reply to them. Does anybody has question in this one?
I just have a question. Thanks, Lataka, for the explanation. I have a question like we have developed very powerful telescopes, but again, scientists still cannot fully understand what happened at the start of the universe, right? Sometimes, like even Stephen Hawking talked about the theory of everything. So, is there a way that we can develop such kind of theories?
Yeah, so this is a very good question. Let me explain using a video. To trace how our baby universe came into being, we need the help of not only astronomers but also particle physicists, as we are dealing with the highest energy particle physics. We need a theory of everything that can unlock the mystery of the beginning of our universe. However, such a theory is just not possible. Although many scientists have tried their best, they have not been able to come up with such a theory that incorporates all four forces. You might wonder why. At present, astronomers and particle physicists have two separate theories. The first is the general theory of relativity, which accounts for the force of gravity and beautifully describes the big things in the universe. The second is quantum mechanics, which incorporates the other three forces, electromagnetism and the two nuclear forces, and wonderfully describes the small things of the universe. We are unable to combine both these theories since general relativity is fundamentally different from quantum mechanics. General relativity does not give the right answer when things are at the quantum size. For example, it cannot fully explain gravity inside a black hole. On the other hand, quantum mechanics runs into serious trouble when things are blown up to cosmic dimensions. Quantum mechanics is incompatible with general relativity, and there is no theory at present that can combine both these theories and unlock the secrets of the universe. The famous scientist Albert Einstein relentlessly sought to find out this theory of everything. However, he ran out of time and died on April 18, 1955, with his dream unfulfilled. Hawking wrote in his bestseller, A Brief History of Time, if we discover a complete theory, it would be the ultimate triumph of human reason, for then we should know the mind of God. However, Hawking died on March 14, 2018, on the 139th anniversary of Albert Einstein's birth, without finding this theory of everything. Many researchers have spent a great deal of their time and energy pursuing this captivating and seductive scientific prospect that they thought might be able to unravel the inner secrets of the universe. But so far, nobody has been able to find this theory of everything. So let me answer this question. So you would have seen that there are two theories, because after we, if Philip Panikkar can add to it, he can add. See, you have two theories. One is quantum theory, the other one is general theory of relativity. So general theory of relativity applies to big things like gravity. Quantum applies to minute things. But at the beginning of the universe, you have a tiny dot. But energy is so high and mass is so high. So it is a singularity. That means nobody can understand what is happening at the beginning. For to understand that, you should have both these theories together. You should marry quantum theory with general theory of relativity. That is impossible. That is why such a theory is impossible. And scientists have used string theory and quantum gravity theory, but all are fictional theories. So the first theory is impossible. This theory is impossible, I would say. You have anything to add?
Thank you. So we get the impression from reading about science that scientists or physicists and astrophysicists, that they all agree on certain scientific facts and certain theories, such as relativity or quantum mechanics, and so on. So we get this impression that everybody's in agreement. And actually that goes against the nature of science, against the nature of the philosophy of science. Scientists cannot agree. They can only agree for a certain time till the evidence holds up. And the moment the evidence goes against their theory, they actually have to find answers or abandon it. So these two theories, that is, these two families of theories, that is the quantum mechanics and relativity, are two of many theories, and they don't all agree, and scientists try to marry them together, and there are large gaping holes in our understanding. And so one of the other theories was this steady state theory for the universe. That obviously is not, it doesn't comport with scientific evidence, such as the laws of thermodynamics and so on. But there are other theories as well, and that involves, for example, plasma. And we can talk about that later on for other questions when we come to the question about light, the initial light and so on. So there are other theories such as plasma cosmology and so on. So in these other theories, you don't have to accept things like dark energy and dark matter. These are immeasurable. You cannot measure these things with any instruments. And these are just mathematical hypotheses. And so you can only claim to measure effects of dark energy and dark matter and so on. So there are these big holes that cannot be filled by existing theories. So we should not think of scientists as having all the answers to these eternal questions, like such as the beginning of the cosmos and life and so on. So about God, so God is beyond space and time, and so he is the necessary precondition for thinking and for existence and for all these things to appear. So it's like we need air to even speak about air, so we don't usually think about air being there. It's always there. So God is the necessary precondition for even thinking, for making measurements, for doing science or whatever. So, and this comes out of the philosophy of science, that God has to be there for the universe to exist, for thinking to exist, for numbers to exist, for rules and laws and so on. So we cannot ask these questions that why is there space, why is there time, why is there matter, without actually sitting on God's lap to slap his face. God has to exist for us to even ask these questions, for logic to exist. So I'll stop there and then we'll continue.
Thank you. So we answered two questions right now. The first one is who created God, and then there is no theory at present to explain the beginning, because it is beyond human comprehension. It's only God who could bring something out of nothing, who could give shape to the shapeless, who could give form to the formless. And when people try to find out that, it goes into supernatural realm, and you cannot find it. So next, Cordelia was asking, how would you reconcile the first chapter of Genesis? So that question is a very important question. Many fights have happened in Christianity. Many sides people have taken. So this question I want to address in detail, and then take up the other questions. So coming to this question, how do you reconcile the number of days of Genesis 1 with science? So should we reconcile? So let us try to find out what God did, because that's what we are trying to do. So the days of creation, young earth creationists, they say that God created the universe in 624 hours day. So that means the whole universe came in around 6,000 to 10,000 years, because they put that chronology in Genesis 1 along with the 6 days and calculate back, and you get around 6,000 years the universe is existing. So sometimes it has clashed with the scientific people when they say it is 13.7 billion years, and so many of the people say Christians are anti-science. So old earth creationists say the universe is 13.7 billion years, and God miraculously is intervened at periodic intervals. He brought in life, he brought in plants, he brought in this way. So that's what old earth creation is. They believe in 13.7, but they believe God intervened. They never believe in evolution from ape to man or evolutionists. They are not evolutionists. But there is a group called theistic evolutionists. They believe that everything came through evolution. So even we came from apes. So Francis Collins had written a very good book, but he's a good Christian, but he belongs to theistic evolutionist. He says that Adam is the result of God infusing hominid with the spirit of God. So that's how we all came. So I have given in my episodes, can we come from apes? So much things that why it is not possible. We cannot come from ape. Even scientifically, there are so many gaps. So theistic evolutionist has that confusion. So in my book, I have brought in a new model called revelatory model in beyond the boundaries of science. So I say that the days of Genesis 1 are not 6 literal days of creation, but 6 days of revelation. That means 6 days God revealed to somebody the process of creation. See, for example, if you go to Revelation, the Apostle John got revelations from God in visions. So he wrote down how the world is going to end. Though we don't know when it's going to end, we are sure the world is going to end, right? In the same way, somebody should have written down what God has done in creation, because before the earth was created, how would we get the sun and the moon? So that is why I strongly believe this should be a revelation. And I believe this, I wanted to show this video. See, in Exodus 24:16, why did God make Moses to wait for 6 days? You can read Exodus 24. Moses went up on the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain. The glory of the Lord dwelt, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day, God called Moses. We are not sure why I have put as my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways. That's what God says in the Bible. So we cannot speculate, but we can at least try to understand some of the things. So what I have thought with my own understanding and brought in the revelatory day view will reconcile. For example, there is no need to assign, even it can be 6,000 years, it can be 13 billion years, it can be any amount. So we need not, whatever science says, we can go ahead with that. So it is just a revelation. So let me explain it to you.
Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light."
Yes. So the first command that came was, let there be light. So on the first day, as per the cosmologists, they say that the first thing that happened in the baby universe was light photons started traveling throughout the universe. Okay, so that was the thing that God revealed to Moses on the first day, I believe. Then let's come to the second day.
And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening, and there was morning.
So the second day might be the second day.
Day.
Yeah. So I feel, see, we are so beautifully. I'm going to cover that in depth in the next session. The position of our solar system in our galaxy is so beautiful. If we would have been in the center, the whole Earth and our solar system would have been eaten by the black holes. If we are a little away, we will not have calcium for our bones. And God was in a particular place where this beautiful solar system will be located. And inside the solar system, only Earth is in the habitable zone. Mars, so many times people have sent missions to find out, is there life? Nothing. They could not find. So why only Earth? God created protective layers, heliosphere around the solar system, and then so many mesospheres, so many things to protect us, ionosphere, and all the things. If you see, so many atmospheric layers, ozone layer is there, all the things to protect us from the harmful sunlight. And also he brought Earth, everything, he positioned the Earth. So I feel that firmament, he divided that, is dividing of the Earth alone as a life-giving planet. So the second day is bringing out Earth as a life-giving planet.
God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth." And it was so.
So here you see, if there is no water, there is no life. So there was no water when the solar system was formed on every planet. But at one point, somewhere water came from Neptune and Pluto, that side. From there, they say that a meteor came and brought water to Earth. Scientists are speculating. So after this came, there were plants. First thing that came on Earth was plants.
The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. Let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so.
So here in the fourth day, it's all about creation of the moon. Scientists believe that a big crater came and it hit the earth, and a portion of the earth became moon. So because of the moon and the tilt, you get seasons. I will explain in detail. And then you can see in the fifth day, Bible says God created water animals and birds, and the sixth day, land animals and human beings. So these are all revelation. On 6 days, God is showing to Moses. It's not about the sixth day. So you can tell, need not fight for, it can be 13 billion years, or it can be 2000 years, or it can be 6,000, whatever it is, science, whatever says, we can go ahead with the science. There is no need for us to break heads about the number of years. When the Bible is silent, we can be silent. This is my thought on this. So after this, is there any question? You can unmute and ask. And then let me go to the next thing.
I have a question, Latha. Bible in Genesis says, in Genesis 1:1-3, it states that there was darkness over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over that darkness. So my question is, was there only darkness when God said, "Let there be light"? What is the exact meaning of darkness in scientific terms? Now, what does it mean that God separated light from darkness? Is there a spiritual meaning in this? What does science have to say about it?
Okay, so let me just, I have one slide for that, I think. Yeah, I have. 1 John 1:5 says, this then is the message which we have heard from him and declared to you. God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. So the first thing God brought in is to divide the light. Whenever we enter into God's kingdom, we come out of darkness, we enter into light. That's the first thing that happens. So that is a spiritual connotation to this one. So you asked about the spiritual meaning. Yes, but I wanted to say scientifically also that before the light came into existence, there was darkness. The whole universe was dark. The Spirit of God was hovering on the waters, it says. Deep, that means on the deep darkness. It is the Spirit of God that could bring the whole huge universe out of nothing. That is why we need to be so sure when we encounter very difficult problems. The God who can bring the whole universe out of nothing, the God who can give form to the formless, who can give shape to the shapeless, is a God of the impossibilities. He can do anything. Let's see how light came into existence before I go to the next. Astronomers say that the early universe was not this way. It was very dark. There was no trace of any light. It was filled with the hot soup of particles, protons, neutrons, and electrons in the form of ionized plasma. As the universe started expanding and cooling a bit, the protons and neutrons began combining into ionized atoms of hydrogen and eventually some helium. But the universe was as hot and dense as the core of a star like our sun. And it had the temperature and pressure to actually fuse hydrogen into helium and other heavier elements. This fusion process generated photons of gamma radiation, but these primordial photons were trapped and could go nowhere. Everywhere it was more hot and dense. That was the reason for our dark universe. But after around 380,000 years, these ionized atoms of hydrogen and helium attracted electrons, turning them into neutral atoms, which allowed the photons to freely travel throughout the universe, the first time making the universe bright. If you run the clock of the universe backward, closer to the beginning, you get to a place the earliest possible light that astronomers can see. That is called the cosmic microwave background radiation. Because the universe has been expanding over the 13.7 billion years from then until now, these earliest photons were stretched out or redshifted from ultraviolet or visible light into the microwave end of the spectrum. The universe is celebrating its existence. So, here I wanted to tell you, there was darkness and the Spirit of God was hovering over it. And then the first thing, because when the atoms recombined, the light photons were able to freely travel. So now, after so many years, it has been shifted to the microwave spectrum. And how do I know? We have lot of telescopes, WMAP and others, that goes there and finds out this is the microwave background radiation. This is the evidence. And also people have found, like two scientists, Arno Penzias and one more scientist, they were just working on their antenna. And through their antenna, everywhere some noise was coming. They thought some pigeons have put some eggs or something like that. They cleaned everything, but still there was everywhere so much of noise. That's when they found the universe. It's surrounded with the first light that happened so many billion of years back. So this is my explanation for the first light. Dr. Panikar, do you have anything to add to this?
So I like the way you've explained using plasma, the appearance of the light, and God was the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, was hovering over the waters, and at that time the earth was composed of water, and as He is stimulating the water and creating plasma out of the water, the plasma begins to come out of the dark mode into the light mode and emitting various radiation spectrum, including the visible spectrum. And so that is what then God works with to create the day and night narration in Genesis. So I'll stop there and we can come back to this later.
Thank you. Is there any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Dr. Panika mentioned earlier also about dark particles and dark energy. Now, this is what's surrounding, and what we see is only the visible spectrum, and dark particles they figured out because of gravitational pull, etc. Now, what exactly are dark particles? And what is dark energy? Is it physical? Is it spiritual? Is it real? Is it tangible?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. I think I have a video for this. Let me just share my screen and then show. Another mystery is that this great cosmic ocean with its 100 billion galaxies and stars make up just 5% of the total mass and energy in the universe. The rest is unseen and unknown, which scientists have dubbed as dark matter and dark energy. What is this dark energy and what is this dark matter? Is dark energy the strange energy of empty space or something entirely new? More is unknown about it than is known. But how are scientists so sure of this dark matter and dark energy? Using a set of telescopes in Chile, Hawaii, and the Canary Islands, two different teams of astronomers made new measurements of distant galaxies that existed 7 billion years ago, and all of them announced the same surprising discovery. The galaxies appear to be moving apart from each other faster and faster. The expansion of the universe was speeding up. Some of the galaxies appear to move so fast that they seem to have been ripped apart. This discovery of the accelerating expansion of the universe was as peculiar as if you threw a ball in the air and it sped up and flew away from your hand into the sky. However, scientists are unable to find the cause behind this acceleration of the expansion of the universe. It's possible that there might be some sort of unknown, invisible matter in the universe, something out there that holds swarms of galaxies together in place and keeps their stars from flying apart. This entity has been dubbed as dark matter, and it makes up to around 27% of all matter. This dark matter tends to pull the universe together. There is another ingredient which makes up to around 68% of the universe that tends to drive the universe apart, and that is what is called dark energy. Briefly, dark matter attracts and dark energy repels. While dark matter pulls matter inward, dark energy pushes it outward. To understand this cosmic struggle, we need major experimental and theoretical breakthroughs. Michael Turner, who coined the term dark energy, believes that this dark energy has the destiny of the universe in its hands. As it will make our universe grow eventually darker and emptier by speeding up the stretching of space. But when will our universe be ripped apart? This mystery is yet to be resolved. Scientists are not able to understand many things. That's what I wanted to say, because when they find that visible matter, like people, I'm seeing you, I'm seeing this table, all these things are visible matters. So whatever you are seeing is just 5%. So what happened to the remaining 95%? That is what scientists are so confused. Like, how do I account for this? Visible matter is just 5%, but the dark matter is 27%. And they say that dark energy is 68%. And dark matter pulls the universe together, and dark energy drives the universe. So now they are trying, each thing has some particles, right? So it is also made of weakly interacting massive particle WIMP. So it's heavier than protons they found. But so many experiments they have done, they could not find what is WIMP. So I am not sure, as you asked, whether it has a spiritual things to it. Because I believe we are surrounded by angels, even we are surrounded by enemy power like demonic powers, but they are in a higher dimension. We are in XYZ dimension, but there is even 11 dimension, 12 dimensions. Many of the string theories are posited. Even when Jesus, I have given in my work, Beyond the Boundaries of Science, about the resurrection of Jesus, his head covering was separate, his leg covering, everything was separate. And Jesus' body went through the clothes, went through the tombs, because he had a glorious body. So that means the glorious body is in a higher dimension. It's not in this normal dimension. Okay. So that is why we should be very careful about understand, like giving that this is this one, this is that. We are not sure. When we are not sure, we need to be careful. But scientists are not able to understand why only 5% is a visible matter. The others are dark matter and dark energy.
So when we talk of new creation, new heavens, is it possible that God taps into the dark matter and adds to what is already created?
So you say, can you repeat your question again?
When we talk about new heaven, new earth, is it possible that God can tap into dark matter? He's only used 5% of it.
So new creation and in Revelation. So I believe Jesus is going to come back again here in this world, and he is in higher dimension. So he is going to come with power, and he is not going to come like earlier, like lamb. He was slaughtered, but now he's going to come with power. And this time, the spiritual world from there, he will take over this physical world and change everything different. And you by the science also says, after some time, our sun will become a red giant, and the whole universe is going to rip apart. But when it will happen, scientists also don't know. And Bible also is not clear about when the universe is going to end. So I feel we all think that at one point heaven, we are going to heaven, but mostly at some time heaven is going to come down completely, and we are also going to see Jesus coming with power.
Yeah, let me add a few things to the discussion. So we need to promote Christians entering science, and especially young people. We need to encourage them to enter the field of science. So as Christians, we hold on to our doctrines, and these are the doctrines of, the gospel, and then what preceded the death and burial and resurrection of Christ, that is, including the creation, of course, but creation of God and, creation of Adam and Eve in God's image, and the Genesis stewardship mandate that was given to man to steward the earth, and then the fall, the curse, and the proto-evangelium, that is of the coming Messiah, the hope that was given to Eve and Adam. And so these are doctrines. And so as scientists, they don't deal with these things. They deal with physical things. But then we want Christian scientists. We want scientists who are Christians, and we want more of them. And so then they have to grapple with these concepts, including the doctrines and then what they know in science. So we need more debate. And so dissenting views are very helpful. It's very good to debate because all of us have blind spots. Even the most confident scientists have blind spots, and we make errors in thinking and so on. So we need debate, even amongst Christians. So as a Christian and as scientist, I have friends who are, and non-friends also, who are theistic evolutionists or old age earthers or whatever. And I appreciate them. I like to debate with them because I learn more about my own stance. And so, but as a Christian, the science has to comport with our doctrines. That is about creation of man, the fall. These are very important. The fall, and then the curse, the proto-evangelium, the law given to Moses, and then coming of Jesus, the prophecies, all of these things, and then the central point of human history, which is Jesus Christ.
But Dr. Panikar, that theistic evolutionists say that God infused spirit into Adam, right?
Yeah.
Spirit into few hominids, and they became human beings at some point. So how would you connect fall to that? Say for them, they cannot believe in a fall. They cannot believe in the literal Adam and Eve creation. So that means they think that the first chapter of Genesis is a fiction as per them. So that is why I don't agree with them, because first chapter of Genesis and Bible clearly says that whatever is written, every word of the Bible is inspired and it is written by God. So I'm not sure. That is the reason, because this confusion I had for a long time.
So you're right. They're clearly wrong because the scripture is God's word. God's word is supreme over all human opinions and all human experience and measurements and all human rationalism. God's word is supreme. So yes, theistic evolution is categorically wrong, even scientifically. But do I appreciate? Yes, I appreciate Christians who are that way, and I will try and change their minds. But by debating with them, it is good because I can learn about my stance as well, the mistakes I'm holding on to maybe. So debate is very good. But it's their problem, as in the theistic evolutionists have to change their science to make it fit with the doctrines. That is creation of man in God's image, Adam and Eve, the fall. So they cannot come from apes. They cannot have derived from apes and then, have a spirit infused. That doesn't work. But anyway, so moving on from there to cosmology also. So let me just say this, that I again recommend every Christian to study Christian philosophy, which includes also the philosophy of science, because Christianity gave birth to modern science, including the scientific method. And so according to the scientific method, Big Bang Theory is not proper science. It is historical science. You cannot recreate those phenomena and you cannot measure any of those. So it doesn't really comport with the scientific method. So you have to, they have to work on their side of the issue to make it truly scientific. And that's why they are positing the presence of dark energy and dark matter. So the realm of science today, the domain of science, is very political. And so it is somewhat like politics. There are big parties. So there are big parties of quantum mechanics, big parties of relativity theorists. And then there are smaller parties. And one day those smaller parties might overtake these big parties, just like in the time of Galileo. And so I'm not in those big parties. I'm actually in one of the smaller parties, and that is the plasma cosmology party. And according to that, the gravitational theories of quantum mechanics and relativity that is trying to explain the Big Bang are not correct. So there is no physical dark energy, no physical dark matter. By definition, they cannot be measured. They are mathematical. They are purely mathematical. So you could say they're purely spiritual in that sense, but they're not physical. And so in plasma cosmology, So let me say what is plasma. Plasma is ionized gas or ionized material. So that's the fourth state of matter, solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. And then there are others that are short-lived, like Bose-Einsteinium condensate and so on. But plasma is ionized material, and that plasma gives out light. And so the creation of the universe involved plasma because 99.999% of the universe is in plasma state. So when you turn on your tube lights, the older tube light, not the new LED ones, but plasma TV and even in fire, there's low density plasma. So there's ionized material. And so plasma is everywhere in the universe, and plasma has the habit of giving out light. And so plasma cosmology involves electromagnetic forces. And that is what is being ignored by the relativists, special and general theory of relativity, and quantum mechanics, who are trying to explain Big Bang in terms of gravity. Gravity is too weak a force. Electromagnetic force is 10 to the 40th times greater than gravity. So electromagnetic force is superior, and so the universe is 99.99% plasma, and so you do not need dark energy or dark matter to explain the phenomena, including the expansion of the universe or the acceleration of the spin of galaxies. You do not need these mathematical constructs.
Yeah, thank you so much. Dr. Panikkar follows plasma cosmology. So I don't follow any of those cosmologies. I just believe that whatever science says, it can be Big Bang can be true, or Dr. Panikkar's plasma cosmology can be true, whichever it is. But let us not assign number of years to that. If we assign number of years, then someday science will say it is plasma cosmology, so it is less number of years. Some days it will say Big Bang, and so it is huge number of years. And so young earth creationists will use plasma to tell, and old earth creationists will use Big Bang to tell. So I have brought in specially this revelatory model to just tell that there is no need, whatever science says, we are for it, because we just have to say that it is revelation. So God revealed to someone each day. That's what I am speaking. So thank you for telling about plasma cosmology, which is a new concept for so many people here. So young earth creationist can be reconciled with science using plasma cosmology. Old earth creationists try to reconcile using Big Bang. So there is some difference of opinion between these two groups. There could be some old earth creationist here. So I just wanted to say, using revelatory model, that let science say anything, but these revelations, what God gives in the first chapter of Genesis, it's history. So whatever it is, we just go as per that. So that is my answer. Any questions after this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Peter, who's been waiting for a long time to ask a question. So, over to
two
Peter.
quick points. One, the sun comes out on the fourth day, and there is light on day one.
That's
And
what Disha also has
You
put on.
already, so just on that point, the verse 3 also says there was light. So he separated the light from the darkness even in day one. And the light he called day, and the darkness he called night. So that seems to have been there even before the sun seems to have come out on day 4. If you can just clarify a bit or give us at least a theory
Disha.
to explain that part. And the second point is, this old age earth creationism also talks, I believe, about, the earth having become without form and void, meaning that God is actually recreating the earth as we see it in its current dispensation, and not the very first creation of the earth. Is in verse 1, when he said the earth had become without form and void, it was not that he created it formless and void. God doesn't create things formless and void. That was an argument. Just these 2 points.
So let us first finish one. Disha, you have the similar question. You have put it there. Can you again ask instead of
Yes, certainly. So, my question is that the Bible says there was darkness first and light came into existence in like the fourth verse of the first chapter of Genesis. But then when we look at verse 16, it says God made the two great lights. So, my question is how could God have produced light on the first day if the lights were not made until the fourth day? And what are these two great lights God is referring to?
Okay, so this is based on my model. I'm just trying to, I have a video, so I just stitched it out. Let me just show you the video and then explain. How did this moon come into existence? When a Mars-sized object collided with Earth 4.5 billion years back, two things happened. Firstly, it knocked off a chunk that would become the moon. Secondly, it also tilted Earth sideways a bit, 23.5 degrees relative to our orbital plane, so that our planet now orbits the Sun on a slant. Why is this tilt important? Without Earth's tilt, there would be no seasons. During the course of 1 year, the amount of sunlight striking the northern and southern hemisphere varies as they wobble back and forth. First, the southern hemisphere leaning sunward, and then the northern hemisphere leans. This cycle drives Earth's seasonal variation. If you just close your eyes and imagine a world with no seasons, no spring, no summer, no autumn, and no winter, how could it be? In a world with no seasons, we would be either cold all the time or hot all the time, likely congregating in the planet's tropical midsection, and humanity would be in a very sorry state. Because of its elliptical orbit with a tilted axis, each and every corner of Earth is able to receive sunlight at regular intervals, helping the sustenance of life and making our Earth a habitable planet. We live on a blue planet that circles around a ball of fire next to a moon that moves the sea, and you don't believe in miracles? It is both Peter Selvarajan brother's question and also Disha's question the same. So the first thing that light emitted was, I say that first thing that light photons were, as Dr. Panikkar was telling, it's trapped inside the plasma. And at one point when the atoms regenerated, the light photons were emitted, which you could see in cosmic microwave background radiation. So that is the first light. And afterwards, stars, the first generation of stars, population 3 stars bursted, and then the second generation came. This is what some scientists are speculating. So that time the universe was filled with light from stars. So that is the first light. And then the galaxies evolved, and then our Earth came into existence, and then a Mars-sized object hit the Earth, and so moon came into existence, and the Earth was tilted. So because of that, you have moon, you have a tilt, and you have seasons. So the fourth day is not about creation of light, it is about creation of seasons. So the fourth day is just God showing to Moses that how he brought in the moon to show night, and how he brought in the stars. He made the stars also, it is written, on the fourth day. But the stars are, now also stars are forming in the star forming regions. So star formation is perpetual, it keeps coming. So moon, God made moon and tilted the earth to give the season. So everything is a planned thing. That's what I believe. It could be even in 6,000 years using plasma cosmology, this could have happened. But the first chapter of Genesis is all about revelation, I believe. So this is my thought on that.
But on day one itself, there is a day and a night.
So I have been explaining, this is the thing.
Not from day 4 when the sun and moon come up.
No, day and one. See, when, for example, you assume the position of Moses. You are on the Mount Sinai.
No, that point we got. That point I got. No, he's talking about when he says, God said, let there be light, and there was light. And he separated the light from the darkness, and there was evening and there was morning the first day. So you're saying that part is referring to the portion when he spoke to Moses. Okay, got it.
I am telling evening and morning for the person, it is whomever it is. I'm just speculating.
Okay, got it,
I am
got it.
not
It's
God.
not connected
It's
with the
just a
light.
revelation. It's just a dream. So the first day, it's a vision. So Sunil also has a question. So before that, I will just share the screen and finish. I am coming to the end. This universe is mysterious. So many people use different things to understand. It is either plasma, or it's Big Bang, but it's dark energy existing or not, we are not sure. Where is the spiritual world? We are not sure. But there is a heaven, there is a hell, and there is this earth. So this elusiveness of the meaning that haunts us and senses, somewhere there is a riddle, right? So that's what insights wonder, and it gives us meaning. It connects us with a question of our existence, like, why am I here? Look at the beauty and wonder of the universe, and can you say there is no God? There is a God. That means why he has put me here, why there is a purpose for me here. Is there a purpose? Why am I here? So if this beautiful universe and life that God has created, God has given meaning, might be there is a great meaning for my life, which at present might look meaningless. So this is what today, through this mysterious universe, I feel sometimes you might feel everything is mysterious, it's beyond your understanding, but try to hold on. There is a God who knows everything. We can speculate, but more than that, it is only God who can reveal things. That's why Bible says he revealed things to his people. So let's spend more time with the Holy Spirit, get to know more about him.
Ma'am, that other point you've not clarified.
Sorry,
Could it be
sorry.
a
What is the next point? I'm sorry.
could it be a recreation of the earth after the first earth had been destroyed by a
Okay.
meteor or whatever it is?
So this is called as gap theory. Whatever brother is asking is called as gap theory. They say that God created the whole universe in the first time when he says, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth, because they believe God creates beautifully, right? And so it cannot be formless, it cannot be beautyless. But it is saying that it became formless and empty, and the Spirit of God is hovering up the water. So they believe some evil power that's Lucifer's fight with God is mentioned in Jeremiah and other places. So Lucifer has fought, any evil powers have fought with good powers, and so there was a total chaos across the whole universe. And that's when the whole universe became formless again. And then God had to recreate everything. So this is what the gap theory says. But nowadays, this theory has been put aside because it's an impossible thing, because God has, after God's creation, beyond God's power, some evil power cannot overpower and spoil the whole creation. That's what I strongly believe. And then somebody has written, should God wait for million of years for an old earth? So can he not create an old earth at the fraction of a second? Yes, it's possible. That's what Dr. Panikkar was using plasma cosmology to say, that it can be a short time. So Big Bang theory says, because why many people are following Big Bang theory, many cosmologists, is because they have found some evidence in cosmic microwave background radiation and deuterium and other heavier elements. So that is what I'm telling. It can be created in a day, in a second, or more. So we are not sure. So let us not assign the number of years. But if scientists say it is 13 billion or whatever billion, or it is just 6,000, let's go ahead with us, because Bible is not so clear about the number of years. So why should we say this is the one, and then scientists will say that you people are anti-science, and among Christians itself, a lot of confusions between. So as Dr. Panikkar said, that I accept them, I respect them. So they believe in salvation. But I'm sometimes a little confused. How can you believe in salvation when there is no fall? So people should accept the fall. People should accept the creation. That's when the salvation of Jesus Christ makes sense. So evolutionist, I don't believe in I have come from apes, 100%. And that's why I made this video recently, that apes to human beings, is it possible? And so Sunil, you can ask.
Good evening. Akka, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Thank you very much. And that was a mind-blowing revelation you have given about Moses on Mount Sinai. I never thought of that was this is my first time listening to this revelation theory. Okay? So very much thankful to you for giving me that revelation. And my question was about the same. Somebody has asked about the gap theory. And my second question was how I mean, the Big Bang. The Big Bang has started with the word of God. Let there be light. Can we mingle both of these, the Big Bang theory and God speaking out, let there be light at one point? Is it how the Big Bang has started?
See, let there be light as per this Big Bang theory, people. It says that 380,000 years after the universe was created, light particles started to move. Okay, so as per the Big Bang theory, I'm not telling because I'm not supporting Big Bang. I'm not supporting any theory because I just say that whatever scientists say is okay. For me, it's a revelatory model. So as per the Big Bang, at one point, the whole space, time, and matter energy compressed, and then the whole universe came into existence. So God, because it came out of nothing, there was nothing, and everything came into existence. So scientists are trying to say this Big Bang theorists are who don't believe in God. They say that okay, gravity created it. Okay, quantum fluctuation created it, or some aliens cooked up this whole universe in a lab. They don't even think if an alien can cook up, who created those aliens? Who created that gravity? So being an atheist, Bible says that those who do not believe in God are fools. That's what I strongly believe because you can be a great scientist, but you cannot tell that gravity has created this orderly, beautiful universe. So at some point there was nothing, and at one point space, time, and matter was joined together. That's what Big Bang says for Sunil, and then the whole universe started expanding. Somebody has asked here the question that, can you tell about the firmament dividing from the firmament? That is the second day that God divided the firmament. So I said that it is about two things. One is God was creating a specific place for human beings to be kept. So what do you mean by that? At a specific point, our solar system is located in the Milky Way galaxy inside the inner rim of the Orion Arm. Okay, so at that place, we don't have many black holes to eat us. And also, we are not away from the Milky Way so that we can have elements in our body like calcium, phosphorus, and others are come because of star burst, which is able to be there. So the exact place our solar system is located. And our Earth, exactly, that's the only planet in all the 8 planets which is in the habitable zone. People have gone to Mars, but still they could not find a life. So the next thing is God separated waters from waters means the cosmologists are telling there were water particles in the whole space. And now there is a heliosphere, to around our solar system to protect the bad cosmic rays from entering our Earth, our solar system. And then our Earth is protected by Earth's atmosphere. In that, it is 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen, and you have so many protective layers one after the other. So for example, you have ozone layer. So because of the ozone layer, we are able to protect ourselves from dangerous X-rays and others. And also we have magnetosphere and others to protect us. And Jupiter is kept at the right place so that any comet, any asteroid that strikes us had to strike Jupiter first. So every positioning is so done beautifully. That's what I think about the second day. God separated that word vault from vault. Could we say that Genesis talks about what of creation while science explores the how? Dr. Panikar can tell in detail if he has some time.
So the answer to Janet and Geetha Monsing is yes. That is true. The Genesis explains the why, the Bible explains the why, and then science tries to explain the how. And so we need to, again, encourage young people and those who are interested and those who have time to get into science, to start answering those hows, those questions about the how. And that might involve a lot of debate, and the debate is a good thing because iron sharpens iron, and then we learn a lot. And so, by opposing each other, we see our own shortcomings and so on. So we do need more Christians in the scientific domain, because we have left it, because science was a Christian invention, it was a Christian creation, and we have left that field. We need more young people and Christians of all ages to get into science. Now, I just want to clarify about a couple of things. One is that plasma cosmology doesn't necessarily say that there's 6 days of creation. A lot of plasma cosmologists are steady state universe proponents. But this is why we need more people to study plasma cosmology and other branches or other theories. And the advantage of plasma cosmology is that it is empirical, not just mathematical. You can do experiments in the laboratory, and you can have industrial applications. And that was what science was created for, is that we can have stewardship of the environment, of the earth. We can use science to further the Great Commission of Jesus. So we need science for all of that. And so we need more Christians in that. So I really recommend that people look into plasma cosmology as well as the other gravitational theories. Now, about the rakia, the firmament, the question, we don't really have an answer to what happened to the firmament, or the rakia as it's called in Hebrew. There's a lot of theories for that and a lot of speculation. And so again, it goes back to, we need more Christians to study that and try and answer that question. But some of the interesting theories is that the waters were separated, and so we do have an atmosphere that is quite unique. Like Dr. Latha mentioned, our atmosphere is very, very, very unique and special. It is designed to protect us. But the word firmament has firm in it, right? So what happened to that firm part of the firmament? So it could have been destroyed during the flood, the initial parts of the fountains of the deep breaking out, and so it could have been destroyed during that time. And then part of it is in our atmosphere, and parts of it could be in the Van Allen radiation belt that surrounds the Earth, and so on. So those are very interesting questions. And so again, we need more Christians in science. So,
I have a question to you, Dr. Philip. If
Yeah.
it is a steady state theory, can it have a beginning?
Okay, so those are not Christians who subscribe to the steady state theory. But why it is a useful theory, though, is because God created Adam in maturity. Adam and Eve were created as mature human beings. And so God can create whatever he wants, but he created the universe in a fully formed state with stars already, not stars ready to give birth to stars, but not gas giants and so on. There were stars and there were planets and so on. These were fully created. So since time is relative, we can then try and explain the time part of it, but God created a fully matured universe.
So thank you. But many people who are atheists, they use steady state to say that the universe is eternal. That's what for a long time people believed, that it was a steady state theory till Einstein brought in his general relativity. And when he applied to the universe was formed, expanding. And so when it is expanding, you take it back, you get a single point. That means there is a start for the universe. So anyhow, let's read on
Just
some more
a point on
scientists.
that. Even the steady staters, they don't say it's like an eternal universe. They say that because it's a philosophical contradiction to have a eternal universe. And so what they're saying is it's just trillions of years old. We don't know how old it is. It's just very, very, very old. And now again, the Big Bangers are now changing their position from the 13.7 was not something that they arrived at. It was initially 3, then 4, then 10, then 13.7. You know, they refined that number, and now they're trying to go to 27 because the James Webb telescope is completely disproving all their predictions, and they're finding very young galaxies very distant from us, and so on. So it's going against the Big Bang theory, and so now they're trying to increase the age to 27 billion. So these are the problems that they're dealing with. Yeah, so we need more Christians to get into those fields.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, there are a lot of contradiction. As I said, that it is a mysterious universe. People are trying with their little mind to understand. And an atheistic philosopher or a scientist is looking with an atheistic mind. And he tries to bring in a lot of theories like multiverse. They say that so many universes were created parallelly, multiverses or parallel universes. And then there is another theory called string theory, where you have 11 or 21 dimensions. So all these things they are trying to bring in to show, to remove God from the equation. So that is why I made this new model called revelatory model. After a long time, I was trying to research and so many things. Then why should we fight like this? My theory is right, your theory is right. Like, so better whatever theory scientists are telling, they might change based on their telescopic data. They might change based on new theories. So God will not write wrongly. So it is a revelation because it's so many years before human beings came into existence. The universe was created. So it could be a revelation or a vision. So then there is no need to fight with the theories. That's my thought. So any other question? I think there is no more question.
One more thing, I just wanted to read from Hebrews 11:3. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. So what is seen and what we can feel and measure was created by what is not seen, and that is God, and that's a spiritual realm that exists outside of space and time and matter. And so it's just like us, you know, we have a thought in our brain, in our mind. That's a spiritual thing, the thought. It's not a chemical reaction. And then from the thought, we bring something into reality, you know, maybe a machine, a product, a statue, a poem. So what is seen is made by what is unseen. Similarly, God, who cannot be seen with our eyes for various reasons, physical and spiritual, God, the unseen, made all of this, and he exists both in the unseen realm and in the seen realm. So God is with us. He's God. Our God is a personal God. And that's why he made this amazing universe of great beauty for us to admire and glorify God's name.
Okay, thank you. Cordelia, you can just find out, is there any question?
Yeah, does anybody have any questions? If not, we can end the session today. Yes, if there's anybody who would like to share your thoughts, you can introduce yourself and speak.
Hi, good evening, everybody. It was truly a wonderful and insightful session today. So, what really aroused my curiosity is that there's like so much of theories about creation, and sometimes when we go into the world and we study in schools and organizations that talk about the Big Bang theory, and then every Sunday we read about creation story, there's like so much of contradiction, right? There has to be some sort of a base. There has to be some truth. It's not their truth or our truth, but there has to be the truth which we can rely upon. And I feel, especially in this generation, we see a lot of people that are very hungry for the truth. Because sometimes when we tend to compromise on different areas of the Bible, our faith in a way reduces. Our passion for God and our belief in who our creator is kind of, subsides or decreases, I can say. So I was really curious. I wanted like answers for a lot of things because what I'd read and what I read in my textbooks is like so different. So that's when I thought I'll just join the session and Thank you, Latha auntie, for every time you teach me something new, every time you tell something I had never heard about. And you have been a blessing. And yes, please continue to glorify God in your work. And yes, God is truly using you in this field. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Disha. Thank you. And at this young age, you are thinking like the truth, right? It's not a truth. It's not a relative truth. It is the truth. So, so you doing, you know, that based on model what I have. That's why, because I saw Big Bang, some people are telling, and then some people are holding on to different views. So, it is a revelation. So there is no need, no difference of opinion. Because I met a person who changed his faith from Christianity to something else because he thought Bible is anti-science. Bible is not anti-science. It's not a science book, but every detail that it gives about science is true.
I see that there is a Mr. Solomon here who is a meteorologist and he's retired. Would you like to turn on the camera and maybe say a few words, sir?
Thank you for
Yeah, we can hear
joining.
you.
I met you at Tuticorin.
Oh, you're from Tuticorin, my place.
No,
I am from
met you.
Tirunelveli.
I met you at the uh,
Yeah,
retreat.
Tuticorin.
Good to see so many people here. Okay, for myself, I think I wouldn't take a purist stand over these things. I would like to understand more and more. So all the different models gives me a little bit of explanation and more questions. So I wouldn't think that any particular model or explanation or theory helps me to understand creation from the perspective of from other than the Bible. So I think in line with the Bible, I would think that these try to explain, and it's quite interesting to see how people try to explain things that sometimes need more and more understanding. It's like peeling the onion, no? So I feel like I'd like to wait and see how this whole thing develops into. Yeah. All right. So thank you so
Next
much for
time, we are
joining.
going to discuss about the design of the universe and the design of the earth. Why and are there aliens around? And why we are so privileged and why there is life only on this planet. Kindly join and encourage youths to join like Disha. I want many people like Disha to join. So they'll be able to stand boldly before people who ask questions. So
That's
thank you,
awesome.
Disha, for
So
joining and thinking about it.
yeah. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Panikar, and thank you, Dr. Latha, for this insightful discussion. And let's call it a day and have a good weekend, everybody, and take care of yourselves. Okay, bye bye.